I'm so glad you're here. Welcome to Beyond the Loss, Conversations in Grief Education and Healing. I'm Shari Dworkin-Smith. That's S-H-A-R-I, Dworkin-Smith. And I am a certified grief educator, a psychic medium, and a hypnotherapist. This is our safe space where we can navigate our grief journeys by sharing our stories and feelings, along with tools to help us move through grief in more meaningful ways. Whatever kind of grief that you're carrying, whether your grief is fresh or anticipatory or something you've carried with you for years, this is a place where we can talk about it. First off, though, we have discovered that the AI being used by Spotify is not as smart as it thinks it is, and it has been misspelling my name. So if you're looking for me, please be sure you check A1 Psychic Radio because they've got it right. It's Shari, S-H-A-R-I. DWORKINSMITH.com. Okay, I am so grateful to be here, and I thank you for coming along on the journey. I'd like to take a minute to just share a beautiful poem that was written by my dear friend Joanne Fink. It just felt appropriate for this time of year. It says, "Eternal source of hope and healing, when the world we once knew seems a distant memory, and we're lost in darkness and discord, help us find refuge from the deluge when waves of fear and uncertainty threaten to engulf us and we feel broken and unmoored. Grant us courage to face what lies ahead when we stand on the precipice of despair, overcome by grief and weariness and desperate for connection to your light. Bolster our bodies and strengthen our souls. Open our hearts to possibility and inspire us to act with integrity and kindness. Show us the glorious colors of your rainbow, the sign of your covenant with all living creatures on earth, and renew our hope for a brighter tomorrow." Let's take a minute to talk about the holidays. It's December. This time of year can be filled with joy, and it can also be really challenging for so many people. And so let's talk about some things that we can do to make getting through the holidays a little bit easier. You might consider putting together a small group of photos, the kind of photos that bring you true joy or laughter, the things that make you just giggle when you see them. We can do the same thing with a playlist of our favorite music, things that just make us feel good and happy, things that make us bop, even if we can't help ourselves. And remember that it's totally okay to set some boundaries with friends and loved ones. If you're going to be attending a gathering, let people know if you're not feeling the holiday spirit. That's totally okay. If you need some space or you need to step away for a few minutes, you might consider asking the host or hostess if there's a place you could go if you need to take a break. No one wants to hop into the bathroom only to have, family members knocking on the door, right? Consider whether you'd like to hear your loved one's name or if that would feel too painful. There's no right or wrong here, and making your feelings known, if you're able to do that, can help make for a smoother time for everyone. Those people who are joining you at holiday gatherings are truly, hopefully, not wanting to upset you. It's more likely that they're wanting to support you, but maybe they're not sure how. And if you are able to articulate your needs to a few people that are close to you, it can really go a long way to making the event easier for you to participate in. It is 100% okay if you choose to set some time aside for yourself. We need a little time away to cry and to feel, and that's okay too. The holidays without our loved ones, whether that is a pet or someone who's passed or someone who may be coming up to passing or a relationship that has shifted, it's hard. And there's a falsehood that we need to be strong or hide how we're doing so that we don't upset anyone else. I definitely do not ascribe to that idea. If you're not okay, it's okay to say, I'm doing the best I can. And if you need to find a quiet place to cry, go for it. If you need to leave early, you don't owe anybody an explanation. And if people don't understand, politely remind them how lucky they are not to be walking your path. And then, of course, tell them to tune into our podcast. All right, while we're waiting for our first caller, let me share some guidelines for our conversations. We want to honor your grief, not wallow in it. So if you're calling to share about a loved one who passed, who they are is so much more important than how they died. You are welcome to share that, of course, but the details of the passing are not who they are or how we want to remember them. So let's get started with our first caller. I think we have Paula in South Dakota.
Hi.
Hi, Paula. Welcome. You're our very first caller.
Oh, good. I think.
It's a dubious honor for sure.
Yes.
How can we support you?
I was just seeing I've just had such a rough year with all my kids' medical problems that things are going to be easier or get better this year for us.
Well, so that is certainly the hope. And while I had shared that we're not going to do so much psychic mediumship on this show, what I will tell you is that this is a 9-year, right? This is 2025. And so if you follow numerology at all, you have 2025. And if you add those numbers together, you get 9. And in numerology, that tells us that this is the end of a cycle. And so there's a whole lot of stuff that has kind of been reaching the head this year and has really, like, the situation has come to a head. And there's a whole lot of belief that we're going to have a transition. Now, transitions are not usually instantaneous, but that we're going to have a transition in this new year in the 2026, which will be a 1 year, right? 2026 adds up to 10, which is 1. And that things are really going to start to shift. Now, what I will tell you is, and how old are your kids?
One's 9 and one's 2.
Okay, that is such wonderful ages, right?
Yes.
Do you feel comfortable to share some of the medical issues that they've been dealing with?
She was missing 7 chromosomes when she was born. Had heart surgery when she was 3 days old. Just had heart surgery again 2 months ago, and she's due for 3 more surgeries, I think. But a lot of flying back and forth to Colorado. She got so many medical issues. She was born with no bottom and, uterus, and she had reconstructive surgery. She's just going through a lot.
That is a very heavy load to carry for someone so young. And as a parent as well, I mean, watching our children suffer, we would change places with them in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
So there are some things that I would suggest is, first of all, self-care for you is essential. Okay. You are the caregiver and you're probably carrying 90% of the load. Do you have a partner? Are you married to somebody supporting with you?
No, I'm single. Okay. Just,
so you're
just
carrying,
me and the kids.
So you're carrying 100% of the load. Okay.
Yeah.
So having
I adopted them.
Oh, bless your heart. What an amazing thing to do. And I'm wondering if you adopted kids that were perhaps not adoptable by other people. Did you know what you were?
They're actually my grandkids, and I adopted them.
Okay, so you knew who they were when you adopted them.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. What an incredible heart you must have to choose to do that and to support your family, to keep them together, right? So remembering that self-care for you is essential. And so there are things that I would suggest. One is try to get as much rest as you can. And I know that that sounds silly or, like, I've got little tiny kids. How am I supposed to rest? Right. I know.
Yeah.
I've got 2 myself, but where you can.
Yeah, she's on a 24-hour pump, so I got to get up every hour to change her pump.
Okay. Resting when you can, putting your feet up when you can. And you may consider, and with heavy medical expenses, I know, spending money on other things can be a real stretch. So you may look for some teenagers that are in your area that might need some hours for, here where I live in Florida, the kids need hours for their state scholarships for college and things like that, or high school, projects that they need. So it might be worth it to look around and see if there's a teenager around that could help.
Yeah, it's kind of hard because I had 2 nurses quit on me because they said it was too much.
Too much. It's a lot. It's a lot. And so again, I know it sounds like silliness, but resting and hydration is really, really important for you. And finding a
Right.
place where you can, and please know, I don't mean this to sound heartless when I say,
Yes.
finding a place where you can walk away, even for 20 minutes, where you can walk away and get outside. I know it's winter and you're in South Dakota, so I am sure there's snow on the ground where you are right now. But
Yes.
if you can step away, like I was saying in the beginning of our time together today, if you can find some time to step away and just take a walk, even if it's just you bundle it up and you walk down to the mailbox and come back, something to get you into fresh air, get a little sun on your face and on your third eye, it really does help
Right.
clear our energy and just to breathe. And now make sure you're protecting your own health. I don't want you going out in a blizzard, anything like
Right.
that. Nobody needs you getting pneumonia.
Right.
But having some things that are just that can fill your bucket back up. And I had talked about music a little bit at the top of the podcast today as well. And that is something that can be so unbelievably healing. You know, there's songs like You Raise Me Up. There's other songs that are more hop and bop, but something that is going to just allow you to close your eyes for a couple minutes, take some deep breaths, and recenter your energy. And as simple as those things sound, it can be really, really helpful to reset your energy. And one of the things I teach about, go ahead.
I understand that because I go in my bedroom when I get free time and I turn some music on and I just dance.
Awesome. Oh, I love that. I'm so glad to hear that. Now, here's one other tip that I would like to share. And actually, this was shared with me just this morning. I was working with one of my grief clients and I asked her, I said, what is that something that you would like people to know or that you would want, that you wish you knew when you were at the start of your grief journey? And one of the things that she said to me was about making a list. And she reminded me that I had given her this idea back when we had first started to work together. I usually call it something like a bingo list. And it's a list, even you could just make it in your phone or on a little scrap of paper that says, look what I did today. Because you know what, Paula, when you're the caregiver, there's nobody clapping for you. There's nobody cheering you on, going, good job, you did it, right? And so we need to do that for ourselves. And again, I know that these things sound a little like silly or Pollyanna, but they make a huge difference.
Not to me.
It makes a big difference, right? To write down on a scrap of paper that says, you know what, today I won because I took the trash out. I got all the laundry folded. That can be a very big one. Or I got all the groceries put away, or whatever it was, the things that you are accomplishing, not just in a day, but the things that you're taking on that you're doing yourself. Like, I installed a new printer in my office yesterday, and I had my son here on standby just in case. But I was so proud of myself that I did it by myself because, usually my husband or my son, they do it. And there wasn't anybody here and it had to be me. And so there was nobody. I looked around and I went, well, I still did it. And taking that minute to say, I did it, is really important. So I challenge you to create a bingo list for yourself as well of the things that you're doing. That I didn't ever know I could do that, but and for my husband, I'm sure it's like a nothing job, but for me, it was a big deal. For you, it's a big deal. So let's take pride and pat ourselves on the back on, for the things that we're doing that are hard. It might not be hard for somebody else, but who cares? That's our hard and we're still doing it. So let's include that in those places where you're taking that time for yourself, because these things can make a huge difference when I got to get back out there, right? And it's a long road that you have signed up for. And it sounds like there are going to be, and it feels like there are going to continue to be bumps in the road for you with your little ones. Now, you said there was a 2-year-old and a 9-year-old, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. And I think you told me about the 2-year-old. Is that correct?
Yes, I told you about the heaven. Yes.
Okay. And tell me about the 9-year-old.
He's really good kid. He's got autism, so he has a lot of sensory overloads. But usually, to calm both kids down, we have a dancing session every day around 4 o'clock. So we all sit there and dance.
I love it. And so you're not separating them of their needs. You're keeping them together, that we're all in this together
Right.
is the message that you're sending to both of them, that we have to look out for each other. And that is a really powerful message. So I love that. Paula, I have to say, it sounds like you're doing a lot of things right. It really does. And I please take that to heart and own that. You know, you're really crushing it. Whether or not things are going to get better, I mean, there are things that we are seeing as far as autism, and I don't know enough about your situation to tell you if that's going to get better. I'll tell you with my own kids, we had some real positive changes when we looked at the food that our kids were eating, as far as like, could we get things that were more natural or organic and things like that? And I know there's a cost to that, but those things have become more available. And that really had helped with some of those things. And I think that in all things, when we are dealing with these prolonged illnesses, there are two things that I would like to share in our as we're talking. And one is that we're not treating our loved ones with their maladies like they're broken. They're not broken. They just are wonderful kids who have some health issues and some developmental hiccups. They're not stupid. They're not broken. They're not anything other than wonderful human beings. And it's important that when we're dealing with our loved ones, that we're treating them like the valuable humans that they are.
And I do show them that they're extra special and that they're just like anybody else. And I don't treat them like they're disabled or nothing, you know.
And who knows what they're capable of? I mean, it's amazing the things that we find. I have an old friend whose son was nonverbal autistic, and when the iPads came out and they could come with these things where the kids could type in and he could write things where there's like buttons that are words. He went to college. He wrote an essay. He started using his iPad to public speak, and he's still nonverbal, but he was able to, his thoughts were there, and he just didn't have a way to get them out. So it's so amazing. We have no idea what's really going on in there. So they might just surprise you.
Yeah.
No.
Because Isaiah used to be nonverbal, and then I had Reiki done on him, and then he started talking.
I love that. I'm a big fan of Reiki. I'm a big fan of energy healing. And you know what? That could be really great for both of those kids. And it can also be really good for you too, right?
Yes, I've practiced in that.
I'm really glad. Again, it sounds like, Polly, what do you need me for? I mean, you know, I'm so glad that you're here as our very first guest, but it sounds like you're doing everything right. Now, there's one more thing I want to leave you with, and that is, it's not quite anticipatory grief, but it kind of fits into that category, which is, we know there's more surgeries. We know there's more things that are coming for your daughter is the 2-year-old. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So we know there's more stuff. And so we want to try and keep ourselves out of the what now kind of energy, right? And to keep ourselves in the place of, okay, well, we're going to handle this because our track record of handling all the stuff that's come so far is 100%. We have handled everything that the universe has thrown at us. We can handle this too. Now, I will tell you one more little thing, and that is about manifestation. And it is just asking our angels, our guides, our loved ones to watch over the little ones, to watch over you, and to be very, very specific in the universe. The universe does not work well with ambiguity. And if you're tuned into this podcast, you're going to hear me say that a lot. The universe does not work well with ambiguity. And so if there are things that you want to manifest for yourself and for your grandchildren.
Oh, I'm good at manifesting.
Be specific. Be specific. Tell the universe exactly what it is you want, exactly what it is you need. However, we want to try and stay away from, this is what I want in this box. This is what it needs to look like, because then we cut off the things that the universe can do for us. So we want to say this or something more, right? This or something more. And if you're doing those things, self-care, treating your young ones like they are capable of the world, and opening
Yep.
your heart to manifestation, then all evidence points to 2026 being a much better year for you and your family. And I wish you all
I think so.
wonderful.
I just wanted to say it. And yeah, I feel it in my bones that it's going to be better, but I just thought I'd ask. Yeah.
Absolutely. That's what we're here for. That's what we're here for. Paula, thank you so much for being our first caller on Beyond the Loss. I am
And
so
thank
honored for you
you.
to come in. And
It was an
I'm
honor to
so
talk to you, and I appreciate it.
thank you so much. And you have a wonderful holiday season.
Okay,
All right.
you
Well,
too. Thank you so much.
thank you. Thank you. All right. Well, we're not finished yet. Last week, I talked to you about your purple pain blob, the purple pain blob, and you had a homework assignment of, and nobody's checking, don't panic, nobody's checking, but we had a homework assignment of making our drawing and seeing how big our purple blob is. And so I really want to remind you that as we go through the holiday season, there are days where your purple blob is going to be big, and there's going to be days where your purple blob is going to be small. Okay. And that whatever your purple blob is, or whatever color your blob is, that however that is feeling for you in a day, to remember this red pain button is always going to be there, but the purple blob is going to get smaller over time. And that the purple blob is going to be, some days during the holidays, it's going to be bigger, and some days it'll be smaller. And it is okay, however you are feeling. Now, I want to tell you one more thing about getting through the holidays. And this is something that I feel like has been so incredibly helpful for me in dealing with my own places of loss, and then also in the work that I do with my private clients. And that is a little bit about physics, a little bit about physics. In physics, if you've ever had the opportunity to be in the ocean or the beach, and you have the waves that are coming to you, if you stand, now I grew up in Florida, so a lot of beach. So if you're standing in the waves, even if you're just standing in the shallowest of waters, and you try to plant your feet and say, I'm planting my feet and I'm not going to move from that wave, I don't care, and the wave comes, it's going to shift you, because the energy, the physics of the wave is actually at the bottom. It's a little space at the bottom. But when you are standing in the wave and a wave is coming to you, if you are making even the littlest hop, even if the wave is bigger, and you're making a little hop, the energy, the physics of the wave is going to go underneath your feet, and you actually will be able to hold your position more readily, more easily. And it sounds counterintuitive because we see all the activity is up on the top, on the surface of the wave, with the crest and the whitecaps and all the foam. But the actual energy that's driving the wave is at the bottom. And so when we can make those little hops, it can make all the difference in the world when those waves of grief are trying to come towards us. Now, what do we do with that? I can't walk around hopping and I'm not standing in the ocean. The little hops come in those things that we talked about earlier, finding a few pictures that just bring you joy about your loved ones, or about what, your pet, or the place you love to be, some kind of a picture that just brings you joy. I have a kitten. He's about 5 now. He's not really a kitten anymore. And he's 20 pounds. He is a giant cat. But when he was an infant, a kitten, he fell asleep like this. And his legs were all stretched out and his arms were all stretched out. And he was just literally like this. And every time I see that picture, I just laugh, because he was so tiny, first of all, being a 20-pound cat, but he was so adorable, just completely stretched head to toe, like he was doing a yoga pose. And it just makes me smile. So regardless of what's going on with me, that's a picture that's in my little hop book, in my little hop album. Because whenever I see that picture of my cat Riley, that just makes me feel better, regardless of what is going on. So your homework for this week is to create photos or music or drawings or something that can be your little hops that are going to help you as you are going through this holiday season and beyond. Now, if you are struggling and you're interested in setting up a session to see me personally and see how it feels, please don't hesitate to reach out and let me know. You can find me on all the socials and on my website at Shari, Shari, Dworkin-Smith.com. You can find me live on my Facebook page on Mondays at 4:30 Eastern Time for channeled information and collective card readings for the week, where I share channeled information and collective card readings to help us all get through the week, along with individual oracle card readings as well. Videos are also posted on my YouTube channel. And if you enjoyed this podcast, please be sure to share it with friends or anyone else that you think could benefit from listening. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for owning the fact that there's grief and being willing to share it and talk about it. Thank you for spending this time with me. Remember, your grief is not something to be fixed or a problem to be solved. It's part of you to be cared for and gently integrated into a new version of yourself, perhaps even a better one. You're not alone, and aren't we lucky that we can be together and we don't have to grieve alone? I will see you next week.